Welcome back. So today was surprising in a good way. I actually thought today would be a red day, a massively red sell-off day, and it wasn't. So actually, it's a very good surprise. And you know what? That's good. That's good. Obviously this week we have a lot of things going on. Liberation Day is the biggest. Reciprocal tariffs. That's what everyone wants to know, right? Everyone wants to get more information. So what is going to happen? And we got a little bit more information about that today. But obviously because of it, I thought it was going to be a lot more red today. So I'm pleasantly surprised to see that Dow and S&P actually ended up in a green. And NASDAQ, even though it was a red, it's just slightly in the red. And Bitcoin actually was in the green, slightly up. Crypto, slightly up. So today, overall, good surprise. Not a big sell-off day. It could be because last week, I mentioned this as a possibility last week. We had some massive sell-off days at the end of the week, so today could just be a bounce day, right? We'll see how tomorrow is, but obviously everyone's going to be waiting to see what gets announced on Wednesday. We did get a little bit more information about tariffs. Trump said that reciprocal tariffs will be placed on all countries today, even though Scott Benson kind of hinted that it would be towards the 15 countries that we do trades with the 15 countries that we do trades most with, and he labeled them the dirty 15. Although Trump, he kind of just said every country, so we don't know, and we don't know how much or the exact details, right? So again, all those little things will be announced on Wednesday, so we'll see. But in terms of Bitcoin and crypto, we did get actually some positive news. And that is, number one, Bitcoin, we saw Saylor continue to buy. Obviously, that's never going to stop. Saylor announced another $2 billion buy. I don't know where he gets his money from, but endless raising. $2 billion. So that puts MicroStrategy's holdings well above 500,000 now, putting his holdings very, very close to IBIT. Very close. It's like neck and neck now. Remember a few months ago, it seemed like IBIT was so far ahead because IBIT was already above 500,000, closing in around 600,000, and MicroStrategy was at 200,000. And now they're like neck and neck, so close. So close. Saylor has figured out a way to raise and raise and raise and raise and raise, and has closed that gap. Man, it's so close. And between the two, if you think about it, between BlackRock and MicroStrategy, it's over 1 million. And that's what Senator Loomis originally said that the US would purchase, right? 1 million Bitcoin, 5%. So if you think about it, Saylor and BlackRock already hold more than 5% of the supply between them. Even though BlackRock is not just them, it's the cumulative of all the buyers, all the holders of the ETF. And Saylor, of course, is through with MicroStrategy, and it's through all the raising because of the shareholders and so forth. So, but still, the two entities hold more than 5%, which is crazy. But that's always positive. Obviously, he did it through OTC market, so it didn't affect the price. Metaplanet is raising another $14 million to buy more Bitcoin. But the other big story, besides Saylor, I know a lot of you guys are like, okay, I heard this story before about Saylor buying more Bitcoin. Yes. But the other big one, which is really interesting, is Donald Trump Jr. and Eric Trump is teaming up with Hut 8 to create this new company called America Bitcoin, which aims to be the biggest American-based mining company. And their goal is to become the largest mining company on the planet. And their whole purpose is to just become the largest and build a Bitcoin reserve as well. I don't have all the details, and I don't think they released it all. It sounds really good. It sounds like, though, it's still going to be a private company. It's not something that's like, it's not like a government funded thing. It's not like the whole purpose of this is to put all the Bitcoin mined into the strategic reserve that we now have. So it sounds like this is just a venture that the Trump family wants to get involved with. I may be wrong about that. So I don't know. I don't know. It does sound very positive. The Trump family is getting very, very, very involved with crypto. I heard that they started buying up a lot of the equity into World Liberty Financial, so they hold now 75% of it. So vast majority of the holdings in that World Liberty Financial and the distribution is going to the Trump family. And it seems like they're getting involved with this now. So, yeah, they're getting very involved. But again, this seems like this is a private venture. But if it's not, and this actually relates to the Bitcoin Reserve, that would be even better, right? But you know, like I've been saying, the crypto landscape in the U.S. is just changing for the better, right? So despite all the macro stuff, the scary stuff that's happening right now, there's no doubt that the landscape is changing for the better. The fundamentals continue to get better. And the big boys, like the BlackRocks of the world, the Saylors of the world, and the long-term investors of the world, including the whales, they continue to load up because they know we will get past this. And once we do, Bitcoin will continue to rise up and form a new high and keep on going. And retail investors that also understand this, right, will continue to do the same thing. And hopefully you guys watching understand this. That's what I've been trying to educate you guys on, to stay focused, do not panic, and continue to hold on DCA, right? We got a lot of scary things happening, but if you look at the bigger picture, you expand your horizons and zoom out, you'll realize that we have gone through periods like this many, many, many times, even from a technical perspective. Forget the macro. We have gone through a lot of macro stuff like this before. Even micro, if you look at just things that have happened in crypto, we've had black swan events too that have brought the market down. But of course, we had things within a 4-year cycle that has also brought Bitcoin and crypto down. But if you look at it from a technical side too, of course, we had reasons that have brought Bitcoin crypto down, like, for example, being way too heated, too overbought. You know, there's many, 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 many reasons why we have come down. But when you zoom out, you realize, well, afterwards, after a period of time, we go back up. We go back up. That's just how it works, right? Because Bitcoin is pure, it's scarce, and everyone wants a piece. Not even every millionaire on the planet can can attain one, because there's just not enough to go around, right? So, stay strong, my friends. We got 2 more days until Liberation Day, and it'll be very interesting to see what happens. I am hearing that things are progressing. Okay, we know that there are a lot of announcements, like manufacturing companies are making progress at bringing manufacturing back to the U.S. or bring manufacturing to the U.S. for the first time in their history. Things are progressing. We're hearing about it all the time, but it's going to take time for them to spin up these factories and plants and hire, right? All these things. Short term, we could see disruptions. We could see inflation. We could see prices go upwards. How will we handle these situations? That's, these are the million-dollar questions, right? We just don't know. We just don't know. These are the questions that Wall Street will be asking and wants to know. And, unfortunately, we just don't know. We just don't know. We don't know how to answer them, right? But that's why. That's why we have something like Bitcoin. That's why we have an asset like Bitcoin, because if you look at Bitcoin's history, since it's been created in 2009, its performance has been the best of any asset. Doesn't matter what you compare it to, has outperformed everything by light years. Has gone up millions and millions and millions of percent, which means it's the best hedge against inflation. It's the most valuable store of asset. It's the best hedge against inflation. And it's the most secure and decentralized network that we have. And because of these things, it's the best thing to hold. Despite all the uncertainty, despite all the scariness, despite everything, it's just the best that we have. Really that simple. Really that simple. All right, guys, that's it. Smash it a like, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right, have a good one. Take care. Bye-bye.